Hey guys, how you doing today? Hope I find you well and welcome to a new video. So, Keepers of the Flame is upon us and I have a build guide for you guys. This is a minion army guide, league starter. So I've tried to make this as detailed as possible, especially for new people or someone who's never played minions before. So without delaying much, let's just get into it. So to start with, I have a PowerPoint presentation that I made. Yeah, we're not doing PowerPoint presentations. For this guide was I tried to make it as detailed as possible. So let's take a look at what we have here. So basically this guide starts from Act 1 up until Act 10, and then it just the end game setups, and then I'll also be releasing an aspirational setup which is really ridiculously strong. um, but let's go through this quickly, and we will check out the path of building later after this. So it might be a little bit long of a video, so let's get into it. So in Act 1, um, I set it up such that by before you kill Brutus, you need to have this setup. Summon Raging Spirits, minion damage, melee splash, raise zombie, summon Phantasm, minion damage, decoy totem, and frostblink. The decoy totem will help you a lot against Brutus, so you need to get this. And then before you kill Melvale, you have this setup: summon Raging Spirits, minion damage, combustion, raise zombie, minion damage, melee splash, vitality, precision, flame dash, and flesh offering. Now, things that you need to keep in mind. In Act 1, you need transmutation orbs. So you need to vendor rare, unidentified rare or magic items to get transmutation shards, so you can buy skill gems, you can buy linked items that you may need. And then I also left this Act 1 Ragex. This will help you find things that you need: movement speed boost, some colored links that you may need. And then you have this socket that you need: 3 blue, 2 blue, 1 red, 1 red, 1 green, 1 blue, 1 blue. Then I also have with skill points in Act 1. There are 3 skill points in Act 1, and this is what you have. And this is what your tree should look like at the end of Act 2. We could have gone this way and take this node right here for more damage on our minions, but I do think getting them more tanky is faster, is more important in Act 1. And then once we get to this point, our minions will be really strong. So let's take a look at Act 2. Then we swap into summon skeletons after we finish Act 1 into Act 2. So when you're in Act 1 right here, you can have skeletons socketed anywhere without supports, so that you can just use them as a buffer. But in Act 2, you link them to minion damage and melee phase, and raise zombie, minion damage and melee splash, vitality, precision, and desecrate. Sorry about that. I have a bit of a flu. Apologies. And then this is what your tree is supposed to look like with Kawaii Rush to get some minion damage here, minion duration here. And then you have your quest points, skill gems, skill colors that you need. And then from Act 2 going forward, from around level 15, identify all rare helmets that you find for a +1 level of minions. I almost always find one before Act 5 by doing this. And then check Yina in Act 2 for convening ones and calling ones. Use any assets that you find on these bases to get minion mods, right? And then the spirit shield also for minion mods. Use any essences that you find on them for minion mods as well. So that's it for Act 2. And Act 3 is basically more of the same, but in Act 3, remember, you do your ascendancy, take command of darkness first. After you kill Dominus, you're around level 30 to 33 when you do this. And then your tree should look something like this. You get some life right here, and you get some minion stuff, minion tankiness and minion damage, minion attack and cast speed right here. Right, and then this node, which makes it so that your minions attack and cast speed also affects you. It will help you if you are using shield charge, because there's another option to use shield charge, but for some people they don't like it. You can use this. And then also in Act 3, you grab Feeding Frenzy from Siosa in the library. Right, keep that in mind when you're playing. So you have a falling summon skeletons, minion damage, melee phase, and Feeding Frenzy. And then these are the other things that you need in this act. Then we're going to Act 4. It's more of the same. The change is that you get multi-strike in this. You give your 4 link with multi-strike, minion damage and melee phase and skeletons. And then same thing with your ray zombies. At this point you're doing a lot of damage now. And then you also have your current column linked to Feeding Frenzy and Maim and ray specters. So I put in ray specters early. You can go to Act 2 to get Carnage Chieftain and And the other one that gives you power charges, what's its name? I'm forgetting its name, but I have it in the PowerPoint later on. You can go to Act 2 while you're in Act 4 to get these, and then they'll give you power charges and frenzy charges, which will be really, really helpful in your campaign. And then you grab this node up here for +1 zombie, +1 skeletons, and +1 specters. You have about 2 specters at this point, and then that's it. That's how your tree should look like. And then this is what you need in this act, right? Then Act 6 to Act 10. So this is what your tree will look like. This will be getting a more complete tree. You get your double golems right here, right? So you can have your stone golem and your current golem as well. So I need to fix this actually. Sorry, hold on. I need to fix this. I see there's a mistake right here. It's not elemental army here. I thought I'd fix this. We have current golem. Current golem right here. That's what we need right there. Yeah. Yep. So you have the two golems. The current golem buffs your minions, and the stone golem gives you a little bit of a defensive buff. Oh, the current golem is right here. My bad. What am I doing? I'm a little bit sleep deprived here. I'm sorry. Elemental army, I guess. Let's leave it right there. The animate garden, we're just leveling it. You might even opt not to have it socketed right here. And then also once you get to Act 9, you get your trigger craft in the refinery. Keep that in mind. And then when you have that trigger craft, you put flesh offering, desecrated life tap into your wand. And then these are the ascendancy orders that you need. Crow lab, you take mindless aggression. Merciless lab, you take bone barrier. And then uber lab, you get mistress of sacrifice. And that's what you need to get to Act 10. And then we have the early mapping setup, right? You can have a look at this right here. And then late mapping. So the late game build of this build will be using an all network. You need this for the late game. It might be expensive, but with everyone playing Legion and the league starts, seeing Spain group play, it's going to be playing a lot of Legion. I might be playing Legion as well. This might be a lot more accessible this time. But this is not something that you do at league start. It's a bit later on once you have a little bit more currency. It will be around 10 divines, 10, 15 divines at league start. And then we have impossible escape to allocate X master. So we'll take a look at that part of building real soon, and then I will show you guys how these are working. So when you're upgrading your gear, you need your +2 wand, convoking one, +2 helmet, and a +1 shield. And all the other mods can be just life and resistances and stats that you need, and then you'll be good with this. I'll be making videos on how to craft these as well later on in the video. Oh, not in the video, before the league starts. And then we have support minions. Okay, so this is what you need for your animate garden. You have your low budget and your high budget right here, so you can just take a look at that. Just keep in mind you need gloves right here. I'm sorry, this should be gloves, not boots. Red gloves with vulnerability implicit. Ascendancy Endo touch with vulnerability implicit. We also use wind scream on these, right? And then group crew spells or any other body armor at low budget. But at high budget, we need doppelgangers or couple of the ephemeral, which will be really helpful. As for specters, before you get the ritual specters, grab a demon harpy, kind of chieftain, arena master, and host chieftain. This one gives 40% increased damage. This one gives frenzy charges. This one gives attack speed and damage, and movement speed and cast speed, I think. And then this one gets power charges. And then later on, you get your Demon Harpy. And then Perfect Tiger, it gives you Frenzy Charges and Haste, which will free up a socket on our tree, on our skills, right? And free up some reservation. And then we have Perfect Warlord. This one will give you Vitality and Endurance charges. And then Host Chieftain, this one will give you Power charges. So that is it for this PowerPoint. I'll put the link to this in the description below. You can check it out there. But now let's take a look at the path of building. Now this might have a little bit differences from this, because this is more an easier setup to follow. It's not so socket dependent as much as what I've done here. So here you'll see in the loadouts you have your Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, Act 4 up until end game. Right here you see Act 1, Act 2. So once you do that, it swaps even the skills. And I don't put items for the campaign yet, was you just be picking whatever you find in the campaign. So let's take a look at the mapping setup real quick. You see this mapping setup is doing about almost 6 million shaper DPS, right? It has cluster jewels and stuff, right? And you have your this item, what's it called? The Impossible Escape, that is giving you access to Column Commander and Ravana Sword. And then for items, this is literally just rare items which are just basic rare items, right? Life and resistances, that's all we have right here with all of this gear. And then some cluster jewels, right? I'll put some guide later on on how to craft these cluster jewels. They are very easy to craft. And some jewels, and then you got Forbidden Covenant jewel, right, for some minion block and minion damage, right? And then we are also full block, natural block without using glancing blows. We would take this wheel right here and take that wheel right there for block. And then we are also using in the trigger one Bone Offering with Mistress of Sacrifice. So at a later point, when we get our bloodline ascendancies, so we have two options: Aminist, Pharaoh, or Lich Katarina. I think this one might be better, right? To grab trigger level 20. No, not this one. You can grab any of these three right here, but this will mean you have only one specter, so keep that in mind. All right, but if you grab any of these three, check this out. With this one, you get an aura which grants 100% increased damage and 3% regeneration, 3% of life per second, and cannot be stunned, which is really good, right? But I do think the one maximum number of race specters is a little bit limiting, or a lot limiting for us to be using this. I think this would be perfect for like some builds that can use one specter, but for us, I don't know, man. But these auras really feel a little bit enticing. Now let's take a look at Katarina, right? Now this build has raise specters, raise zombies, specters, and skeletons. So if we have specters, the only thing that will benefit from this is the defenses. Everything else doesn't matter. So this is out, right? And then we have minions deal 15% more damage while they are on low life, right? So I don't know if this is great for us. I really don't know. I don't feel it. Getting our minions to low life might be a little bit risky for us. So then if we also come back to this, we have minions deal 80% increased damage if you have all cried recently. This will also mean we can run what is called we can run that war cry that gives us life and endurance charges. I'm forgetting its name, right? With this to get minion increased damage. Because this downside of run once raise specters is really bad in my opinion. I don't like this at all. While these three are very tempting, we'll have to see what kind of additional modifiers these beast specters will have, as they'll be changing in each area. If they're getting aura stuff, like maybe they get two auras on these modifiers, and aura on these modifiers, that would be really cool, right? Nearby enemies take more physical damage or things like that. We'll test it out and see how it is. But this maximum number of race specters is a little bit disappointing. Now, if we take a look at is there any other bloodline here? Lycia. I don't think Lycia has. Okay, Lycia has something else that is interesting, right? Beta heresy. Create profane ground instead of consecrated ground, right? Profane ground you create inflicts malediction on enemies. Profane ground you create also affects you and your allies, granting chaotic might, right? This means that hits against enemies on profane ground have 100% increased critical strike chance, and curses have 10% increased effect on them. Okay. And then malediction causes 10% reduced damage dealt and 10% increased damage taken. Chaotic might, 30% of physical damage is extra chaos damage. So this is really strong. I think this is the best one that we have right here. Right. Now to get consecrated ground, we can use flame totem. We can use bottled faith later on, as it creates consecrated ground around you, right? And we'll have to find ways to get consecrated ground, but I do think this one is the winner right here for us. This is what I'll probably be taking, right? And that's it about the bloodlines. I just want to talk about that real quick, and then now let's take a look at this is early mapping. Then we look at the end game setup, right? This is doing a lot of damage. This one is using the ulna tools, what I was talking about earlier, right? In the rest of the case, yes, that +2, your minions are aggressive as well on that. +1 on the shield, and then +2 on the helmet, and you know the rest is literally just resistances and life and status stats, and some ball rings with some good stats. This is a late game setup. Okay, so those who don't look at this and think that you'll be getting this early, this is a late game setup. But I just put this out there for you guys. You can check it out if you want. And then in the notes section, I actually need to delete this part right here. Right, we have your specters, we have your animate guardian gear, you have your labs. I need to delete this, no longer exists. This was from last league. Right, that's that for this part of the guide. I do think this build is quite tanky as well. You got max block, you've got max resistance is camped, and you've got decent amount of armor as well. Right, so yeah, that is it for this build. If you guys enjoyed it, and if you guys think this build can be good, subscribe, like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel as well. Help me out, guys. Help me grow this channel, and I'm really grateful for the support. And I'm sorry, I'm a little bit sleepy. I have a newborn, so sleep has been a little bit scarce lately. But yeah, this is it for the guide, guys. I'll see you guys on League Start. Thank you for watching. Cheers. I'm out.